What you doing, Diggletdreamers? You got Mathers back for a bit of an interesting one today. I just want to talk a little bit. You may have heard in a previous video I mentioned that I was in a CAP league, which stands for Create a Pokemon, the Smogon project. But that league, at least it seems to me, is no longer active. It's been a few weeks since I've heard anything, and I think... Did I pull this up? Okay. It seems like the... I just pulled up the Discord. I wanted to make sure I wasn't actually recording that. But it seems like the Discord server that was hosting this league is just gone. Like it's not even on my thing anymore. Which is kind of sad because I was having a lot of fun. I only managed to get in 2 battles before everything fell apart, I guess. But it was a really fun league, and I'm really sad. I had a really fun draft, as you can kind of see part of it here. So I just wanted to kind of go over that a little bit, and I wanted to just throw out this. I thought this could be fun if the video gets to, let's say, 8 likes. I'll work on hosting my own CAP draft league. If there's enough interest in that, like if 8 people like this, and it seems like there's enough of an interest, then I'll fill the void myself, because I want to do it too. I think it was pretty fun, and I'm sad I didn't get the chance to continue this. But I just want to go over some. It was really fun. I want to share that stuff with you. So even though this isn't continuing anymore, I want to at least share like my draft in the first 2 battles. So I got a Equilibra the first round, which is a pretty cool Pokemon. It's got some cool abilities, Steel and Ground, obviously, and it's got some really cool moves. It's got Doom Desire is kind of the thing they were building this Pokemon around, and is a really good user of that with 133 special attack. And if you're not familiar with Doom Desire, it's basically Future Sight, but a Steel type move. It's Jirachi's, like one of Jirachi's signature moves. How many moves does that thing have? Yeah, 140 base power, special type Steel move. Is that the same as... I don't think this thing gets Steel Beam. It does get Steel Beam. It's the same power, but more accurate, and it just takes 2 turns. Really cool Pokemon, though. Next I got Plasmanta, which I think is really cool. It's like Toxtricity, but cool. Toxtricity is cool too. I just think it's a weird design. I think this is a much cooler design for an electric poison type. Also gets some cool ability. I mean, Storm Drain's the coolest one. Vital Spirit's alright. Telepathy is not good for singles. Gets a lot of cool moves though. It gets some water moves. And as you can see, very good special attack stat. So I'm gonna just delete this. Solid speed and solid special attack, and good defenses too. Not to mention electric poison being pretty interesting defensive typing. Obviously that ground weakness, but what can you do? Next I got Heracross because it was using the DLC moves for this league, which means that Heracross gets access to spikes, which I thought was really fun. And Heracross is also just a really good Pokemon already, so adding spikes onto that I think is really cool. I got Volkraken next. I'm definitely taking a little more time on the CAP Pokemon themselves, because those are, that's kind of what we're here for. 135 base special attack, so I'm just getting like super powerful special attackers with my CAP Pokemon. But the original Water Fire before Volcanion came out, really cool. It gets like U-turn and stuff. I think Volcanion might actually get U-turn as well, but I think this was a really cool Pokemon. It had a lot of cool utility stuff like Will-O-Wisp, U-turn obviously, Reflect type, which I never got a chance to use. Memento though, I thought was really cool, and Destiny Bond, and I thought it was really cool, so I was excited to use it. And Analytic, also very cool ability. Not a lot of Pokemon get that ability, so it was cool to see something with such a strong, stats and cool typing to get a strong ability like that. Next up we have Frostmoth, because I just wanted to use it. I still want to use Gen 8 Pokemon because I think they're unexplored to an extent. And Frostmoth I thought was a really cool pickup. Another strong special attacker, but I think with Ice Scales, and I think the Quiver Dance set is good, but I think it has a lot more going for it outside of that. I think it's criminal that this thing doesn't get Moonblast though, for real. Just throwing that out there. Next I pick up Talonflame. I think Talonflame is really cool. I mean, the Gale Wings nerf is definitely a big nerf, but still very good. 126 base speed. It still gets Bulk Up and Swords Dance to make up for that 81 base attack. And you still get priority as long as you're full health. And this thing, and Heavy Duty Boots is an item now. So I think this thing is definitely solid. It is coming back in the Isle of Armor DLC as well, so we'll see how it does in the actual tiers again. I think the problem is, like, it wants to run Heavy Duty Boots to avoid the rocks damage, but then Acrobatics is also the one that it stays priority, because with Brave Bird you take recoil, and that means your next Brave Bird won't be priority. But Acrobatics, if you don't have an item, it's strong, and it's almost as strong as Brave Bird, but no recoil. Anyway, it's a whole thing. So next I picked up Kitsuno, really cool cap Pokemon with Steel Ghost typing. It's Frisk and Limber and Iron Fist, which are all somewhat useful abilities. Of course, it does get Bullet Punch, which adds to that, which adds to the Iron Fist ability. I think it gets Close Combat, and it gets its own physical Ghost type move, which is really cool. I have a lot to say about certain typings that need like physical attacking moves, and Ghost is one of them. But yeah, was it Shadow Strike? 50% chance to lower the target's defense by 1. Very, very cool. And solid stats. 103 attack isn't the strongest, but it's not weak, and 110 speed is really nice as well. And I think this thing gets a lot of cool utility as well. It gets Defog, Fake Out, Knockoff, Memento, Magicoat. It gets Meteor Mash, which is cool. Perish Song, Roar, Taunt, Trick, U-Turn, Will-O-Wisp, that kind of stuff. So I thought it was a great addition. Picked up Whimsicott next as my fairy type. I'm just really comfortable with Whimsicott. Like, it's always going to be doing that prankster stuff. Really good speed. Special attack isn't really anything to write home about, but Moonblast, Giga Drain it's going to hit a lot of things. Rhyperior was next, a nice flying check. Good special. I'm very comfortable using this thing as well. Like, I love running like 244 Spadef, 16 attack, Adamant with the rest in HP, and I think that's one of the best sets for Rhyperior, able to take on a lot of special attackers as well as physical attackers with its base bulk and solid rock. Next was an interesting one. I picked up Flapple. I was like, I want to get a dragon, but I don't really want any of the regular dragons. I want to try something different, and Flapple really stood out to me because it gets Ripen and Hustle, which I think are really good abilities, and it can be really strong with Hustle for sure. And something that I realized when I was looking at it, the move Grav Apple, where is it? Is it not listed up here? Yeah, Grav Apple gets 1.5 times power during gravity, which I realized I actually have. Equilibra actually has gravity as an option, so I really was looking forward to running that combo, and yeah, I thought that would be really fun. I might just use that on the ladder at some point just because I need to try it out. And last I picked up Golisopod, another Pokemon I'm very comfortable using, and yeah, it was pretty low points or something, I forget. It was a really good Pokemon to pick up, and I don't need to talk too much about Golisopod. You've probably heard a lot about it on this channel and other videos. So I really liked this draft. I thought it was a really cool draft. Lots of really fun Pokemon that I wanted to use, and I think it actually had really good synergy in a lot of ways too. But anyway, let's move on to my week 1 battle versus Amp, or Emperor Amp, who I believe was the commissioner of the league. So shoutouts to Amp if you're watching this, and maybe get the league back up. But it was a really cool battle. He has a lot of cap Pokemon on his side as well. I forgot to mention that my team was the Little Tokyo Cyclone to represent the new neighborhood that I moved into recently in LA. And he drafted that. I thought about drafting it, but I ended up deciding not to go with it because I wanted Plasmanta. And I also really wanted Smokemoto, but he sniped that thing for me like round 1 or something, so I was very sad. But I ended up liking my team a lot, so I don't mind too much. But anyway, let's get into this battle. So Heracross I realized was going to be very big versus his team. Just clicking close combat. I brought Scarf, Moxie, so I'm able to, get my boost. And once I start clicking close combat, I'm going to be doing a lot of damage. He is Mega Diancie. But I just wanted to Moonblast there because I knew he wasn't going to stay in on my grass type, and he actually switched into his dragon type there, which was pretty nice. Get a little chip off on this. My game plan going into this game was just get enough chip on everything to the point where Scarf Heracross just clicks close combat. Obviously, my Glycopod takes on this fire ground type, weak to water, and I decided to just encore him into Circle Throw there, which ended up working out pretty well for me. Obviously, Whimsicott's not going to mind that. I knew he'd switch here, so I went for the Sludge Wave, and I'm able to catch this Cyclone on the switch. I know this. He knew this thing got Water Pulse, and he knew I could go for it, which is probably why he went into that thing. So I'm switching out here into Glycopod. I don't really have much for this thing. I just got to let something down, unfortunately. But I can then bring in Kitsuno. And look at this nice 3D sprite. It did not have this sprite at the time I was doing this battle. But this is a pretty good switch in. I'm just going to go into Whimsicott, though. I can take on a water fighting type any day of the week with my Grass Fairy. And I get a Leech Seed up as he goes for a Spike. This thing is a really cool Pokemon, too. I kind of wanted to draft it. And then I call the switch and go for the double Leech Seed, but I miss, unfortunately. So I decided to go Talonflame here, knowing I can take a fire move or a ground move or a Circle Throw pretty well. And he Circle Throws me out into Plasmanta. And this time I am going to go for the Water Pulse, but he makes that switch once again. But I am an Electric type. And, he doesn't want to. He decides to go for the Earthquake. I figured if this thing get Earthquake, I think I knew that thing got Earthquake, which is why I switched out into Whimsicott. Because Whimsicott is a hard counter to that thing every day of the week. And I'm able to defog that Spike away. As I go into Talonflame, knowing I can take hits from this thing. Talonflame has very good defensive things for it, going for it. But yeah, the Diancie is back, and this thing is a problem. So unfortunately, I have to let another thing go down, which is the Whimsicott this time. But I bring Kitsuno in once again, knowing that he's going to have to switch. So I'm able... Oh, no, I don't. I go for the Shadow Strike, trying to catch the Argonaut coming back in. And I forgot. I didn't realize the thing was a normal type at the time. As he goes for the Stealth Rocks, I get in my Talonflame, and he is just rapid spinning to get his speed up. Sure. As he has Roost, I hit him with another Brave Bird, trying to knock him out, but fortunately I don't quite go down to the recoil, and I can Roost up. And the reason he's going before me here is because he has Prankster Roost. So I decided to go for a Swords Dance there as he rapid spins, but he has Haze, so unfortunately. But I do Roost up, so I'm just trying to keep my Talonflame a little more healthy. As he actually pulls a switch into Diancie, but I realized in this moment that if I can just get some chip off on Diancie, which is that chip was basically all I needed, and it will now go down to a Scarf close combat from Heracross. So down it goes. Now I've got my +1 Moxie, and now this thing comes in, and I know I can't knock it out, so I'm gonna switch into my Plasmanta and get the Storm Drain boost. And that actually puts me in a really great position to click Thunderbolt, which will do a lot of damage to this thing. He knocks me out with an Earthquake, but that's all the damage I needed on this thing for Heracross to come back in and just click close combat once again. Switches into this thing, which unfortunately I think was kind of a mistake, because if he had sacked his Argonaut and then come in with this thing, I wouldn't have been able to KO it right out the bat. But maybe if I was a +1, I guess it doesn't really matter. But either way, able to knock this thing out even though it roosts. I got my +1, and that's pretty much game, because I'm Scarf. I'm at +2 now, and nothing is going to be taking this close combat. So Cyclone goes down, and now all he got left is Argonaut, which is going to go down once again. I was really afraid of priority, but I was also trying to get this team to a point where Kitsuno, I think I had Choice Banded Kitsuno or something, could come in and click like Shadow Strike and win the game as well. So great first battle. Heracross showing its stuff. Unfortunately, Plasmata did a little bit, but Kitsuno didn't do much, so the Cat Pokemon didn't really get to be showed off there. But here's my week 2 battle. Oh, let me switch sides. So my opponent had a very scary team. He actually had Speed Boost Blaziken and Stratagem, which if you don't know about Stratagem, it's a very fast, very strong rock type. It gets a lot of cool coverage moves, and it gets Technician. and Levitate is if you want that as well. But also Greninja, I think he had Torrent Greninja, but you know, lots of big threats. You can see that Dragapult right there, and that's Mega Aggron too, which gets body press in this league. So very scary team. But once again, I'm bringing Kitsuno, and I have Volkraken here this time. So unfortunately, I didn't actually get to use Equilibra or Flapple at any point in this league. But you know, the dream was there. Get a spike up with Golisopod, which is going to be helping me a lot versus his team, as he decides to get Stealth Rock as Hypel, switch right into Volkraken, and get a U-turn off on this Greninja. And of course, I can go right back into my first impression Pokemon as he goes Aggron, and I just get up another spike because I know that Greninja is going to have to switch. I go into Rhyperior, which actually takes so much damage from this body press. As now Claydol coming in on the Earthquake, which is not my best play. But I do have my Kitsuno as he misses a Sand Tomb, which is pretty crazy. But that prevents the spin. I'm going to knock him out. So he's forced to switch. I U-turn on the Aggron and bring this thing back in. I just need to get some damage off. I can live an Earthquake and knock this thing out. I think I could have lived, because the first body press was a crit, I think I did live one more body press. But definitely not going to live that next one. But now my Volkraken can come in, which does a lot of work versus his team, and knock out the Aggron, which is great. But now the Stratagem is in, and this thing is a big threat. Unfortunately, oh wait, no, my Whimsicott actually does live a hit from this. But now I should have just Moonblasted there, but the Leech Seed obviously doesn't work on the Dark type because it's Prankster. So I go into, oh, it was Protean too, damn. Kitsuno on the U-turn, and then I decide I can't let this thing like do anything to me, so I just need to Shadow Sneak it twice. I knew there was a chance that he was going to be something weird like Hex, and that's why I lived it. If he was Shadow Ball, obviously I wouldn't have lived it. And now I can't switch in on the rocks again, so I decided to just Shadow Sneak the Stratagem for some more chip. And now I'm in with Golisopod again, and I just first impression to basically claim something. But he decides to go Blaziken. I think I'm Boots, so I could have switched up moves, but he decides to just go for Acrobatics, which is going to 2-hit KO my guy, but I am able to get a Leech Seed off as he Flare Blitzes for a little chip damage. But he's speed boosting, and I don't like it. I have my priority user here, but unfortunately it's Brave Bird, which takes away my priority for the next one, and Claydol is obviously taking the hits pretty well. But I do have U-turn, so I'm coming back in. He goes for Cosmic Power. The whole time I was expecting, you know, Rapid Spin, but never went for it. And the first impression is going to do enough to the point where Aqua Jet does it on the next turn, and Stored Power is not going to be doing enough to my Golisopod. I go for the Aqua Jet here on the Blaziken, as he actually is the Water Berry, Pasho Berry, and the Acrobatics is going to force me out my emergency exit. And I think I had Scarf Kraken, but he does have Protect, so unfortunately it does not work out for me. I would have been able to knock him out there and outsped him with the Scarf, but he is protecting and then Earthquaking me. So I think the play here was to go Talonflame and just try to roost up, because I realized this thing, the best thing this has to hit me with is Acrobatics, which it probably would have been doing a lot, but it comes down to this Aqua Jet just barely misses out on the KO, and if I just had full HP, I would have had priority on my Brave Bird and been able to knock this thing out, but not quite. And the funny thing too is he accidentally had Levitate. He meant to have Technician to make that make the Ancient Power a lot stronger, which probably would have knocked out like Whimsicott, to a KO Whimsicott I should say, if he did have that. But also would have forced him to take like two or three like switch-ins on spikes, which would have obviously done at least 2% and let my Aqua Jet knock him out. So it was a very interesting game, very close game, very fun game. But yeah, that's all that I have for this league, unfortunately. Hopefully, you know, I think it's a really fun meta to try out these Pokemon that are, you know, built for the meta competitively, and, you know, are really interesting. I just want to, if I can't get a league started on my own, maybe I could just do some cap content, just play on the ladder. But either way, thanks guys for watching, and see you guys in the next one. Peace out, keep dreaming, Goodbye.